Velocity Pitch Competition semifinals for Spring 2024. That's good. Save some of that energy for later. My name is Krista Tryanovsky, and I am the Associate Director of Founder Development at Velocity. I will be your MC for tonight, and we're so glad to have you here to see some exciting student teams try for their chance at $5,000. Before we begin, the University of Waterloo acknowledges that much of our work takes place on the traditional territory of the neutral Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee peoples. Our main campus is situated on the Haldimand Tract, the land granted to the Six Nations that includes 6 miles on each side of the Grand River. Our active work towards reconciliation takes place across our campuses through ongoing research, learning, teaching, and community building, and is coordinated with the Office of Indigenous Relations. Before we get underway with the competition, I'm just going to note a few things for our audience. The first is that if you've ever been to this room before, you'll recognize that the stairs over here are practically bleachers, and because of that, they make a lot of noise when you go up and down the stairs. Our suggestion is please wait in between pitches if you need to use the stairs to move up and down. We'll also be having an intermission halfway through our show tonight. So just please wait till people are done pitching so we don't make a lot of noise. If you need a washroom or a water fountain, they are located back on the main floor inside of the atrium, all the way back and to the left. All right, so this term, we received over 80 applications for the competition. They covered a wide range of business categories and came from every single faculty on campus, and we've narrowed it down to just 24 teams who will be pitching tonight and tomorrow. At the end of this round, 8 teams will remain, and they will be informed that they are moving on to pitch at our finals, which is happening on Thursday, July 25th. There, they will pitch again before a new panel of judges, and 4 of them will be awarded $5,000 in grant funding to grow their business. Tonight, we're going to be hearing from the first 12 semi-finalist teams. Each one will have 3 minutes to pitch, followed by a 3-minute Q&A period with the judges. Now, let's welcome our judges. Parisa Sadat Musavi is the Associate Director of Product Development and Spaces at Velocity. She is also an alumna of the University of Waterloo, earning both a master's and PhD in chemical engineering and nanotechnology. Parisa previously worked as a project coordinator at the Center for Bioengineering and Biotechnology and led research projects in collaboration with biomedical device startups as part of her postdoc. At Velocity, she provides founders with mentorship and support in their product development journeys, in addition to her responsibility overseeing multidisciplinary lab spaces and resources. Welcome, Parisa. Danielle is the CEO of Saragen, an agritech company developing probiotics for plants to increase crop yields in hydroponic fruit and vegetable production. She has a background in microbiology and genetics and was on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list for science. Welcome, Danielle. James Lohman is a founding engineer at Coastal Carbon, a company located at the Velocity Incubator. He builds AI to monitor coastal health and measure seaweed from space using satellites. James completed Velocity's Cornerstone program. Yeah, Cornerstone. While attending University of Waterloo for a PhD, and his startup joined the Velocity Incubator in January of 2023. Welcome, James. Hey. Thank you to our judges for lending your time and your experience this evening. Here are the teams who will be pitching tonight. AI chatbot Jadow, Brew, Care Connect, Ecosense, Gradient, and Illuma. Then we'll take a short break for intermission, followed by Insight, Limb Prosthetics, Pyro, Storm Safe Precision, Talk in Order, and Comedy Set. Are you ready to get started? All right, our first team tonight is building Jadow, your smart and friendly university guide, making the application process a breeze. Here to pitch for AI chatbot Jadow is founder Jade Chogari, a CFM student from the Faculty of Math.
Hello. So the first one presenting, how nice. Yeah, let's begin. So every year, thousands of students are applying to universities around the world. But this process can be pretty much overwhelming for all students. And based on those statistics, we see that there's a global shortfall in university guidance. Now let's see the current approaches. You have university websites. They are often pretty much marketing targeted and biased. You have also traditional guidance counselors. Most of them are overloaded, busy, and also the quality of their services vary pretty much. Finally, you have solutions like ChatGPT, which is often too generic, and ApplyBoard, which is made for applying. So we came up with this, the AI chatbot that helps you and help every single student through every step of his university journey. Our target market are high school students applying to universities, university students applying to master's and PhD program. We offer automation and personalization. So this is the graph of how we work. First of all, Jadow will greet and onboard the user. Second of all, we're going to try to gather information from him. We study a really detailed Q&A quizzes by trying to gather the key preferences of each and every single student. And then based on our AI, which we trained on 20 years worth of data, we can output the best university. But it doesn't end here. We provide links, connectivity, and the best step is the third step, which is the matching feature. Jadow will be able to match you with any student at anywhere. From the list of database that we have, the student just output his name and he'll match you. And the fifth step includes studying the chat history and training the model again and again after each and every single student interaction. So I'm just going to focus on one part of how we work, which is the sentiment analysis. We really try to provide emotion to the model and not just a main robotic chatbot. The demonstration, I'm going to leave it to the end so you can read it. But it's very important to know that Jadow starts the conversation and not the student. We also offer multiple languages, Français, Arabe, Espanol, so all those languages to just cut this language barrier. And it's important to know that it's a voice-based chatbot. Market opportunity-wise, it's huge. More than 200 million plus high school students around the world. AI solutions are skyrocketing. And we believe that higher education should be no exception. Revenue model, 2 plans. First plan is the main one, which they can interact with our models. But the best plan is the second one, which is full automation from A to Z, and most importantly, better models. So that's the team. We have Javier Spencer, doing PhD at Waterloo, and me and Rhythm, computer science, bachelor, mid-double degree. And yeah, our vision is to expand more than high schools. We can cover markets like hotels, hospitals, and retails. And we thank you very much. Thanks. Leave this demo.
Hey there.
Hello.
Good pitch.
Thanks.
I missed it, but can you just back up your slides quickly to the costs?
Which section?
I think it's 2 slides behind this. Where you have your pricing strategy. So you had mentioned training after every interaction. That gets expensive. How are you going to be profitable at $29 a month?
To train?
Not just the train, but for all of it.
You mean like all of the model or the revenue plan?
You mentioned training after every interaction.
Yeah.
So that can add up quick. And so is 29 a reasonable amount? Who have you talked to that was willing to pay $29 a month for this service?
Based on G12, we have schools that are partnering with us, and we try to talk with them. Now, in terms of the price, if it's pretty expensive, we can raise. Otherwise, we can just choose like data batches with the best interaction, introduce like human data annotators.
Yeah. Apologies in advance for everyone. My voice is shot after 3 days of networking. Yeah, life of a CEO. Okay, for this, how many high school parents have you talked to about paying for this particular service?
Okay, so the estimated amount, we have not like studied it yet, but the main people that we talked with are the high schools that we partner with, which are around 10 to 15. Yeah. And it's also based on our experience last year as grade 12 student.
Have you talked so you've talked to the high schools. Are they paying or are the parents paying?
High school students. So also we have like deals with high schools. So instead of this just the student paying $29 a month, the school can pay us. But it's pretty experimental right now, so we just experimenting.
Let's get to the problem. What problem you're solving? Students' problem or admission rate for universities? Have you talked to universities? Yeah.
The overwhelming and hard process of browsing universities around the web.
Yeah, as far as, have you thought about the fact that you're gonna have major turnover in your customer base? Because like realistically, if I'm using this to figure out which program I'm going to do in university, I'm not gonna be a customer for more than a couple months.
So I didn't hear your voice. You mean the students like gonna go to university and then forget about it? This is what you mean? Yeah, so for this, we're offering a retention, which means that you can be part of our student alumni, which means that the chatbot, you can be like connected with students, which I mean that we have a list of database of upper year students, and then the high school student can connect to the upper year students. So this is how we're gonna try to just retain the user. And also if he's doing master later on, he can just jump in and yeah.
Strikes me that you could throw together a beta of this real fast. Have you done so?
Beta test?
Like, if you built the bot?
Oh, we're still building yet, so it's
Okay.
experimental.
And when do you plan to launch?
Launching September, because this is when students are going to start browsing university again.
All right, well, time's up. Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much, all. Thank you.
Okay, I heard there are still a few folks up at the top looking for seats. So one more time, we're just gonna take a minute to let everybody come down. And please, again, raise your hand if you have an empty seat next to you. Okay, so all the folks standing up at the top, come on down. Lots of seats available. We're gonna be waiting for you, so. I think there's a couple on this side, a few up there in the middle. There's two over here on the left side. My left, your right. Does anybody have an app for this? Okay, last call for empty seats, two over here if you'd like to run over now. Okay, we're gonna keep going then. All right, Brew is a software that integrates with POS systems to help coffee shops track inventory, understand costs, and provide analytics for profit-enhancing decisions. Please welcome Ernest Wong, a computer science and business admin student from the Faculty of Math.
All right, so I've always loved learning about how businesses work, how they make money, and how they coordinate the different moving parts. So when my friend Jason opened his coffee shop, I found my chance to geek out, asked him how he prices coffee and what his inventory system looked like. And his answer? I just did what felt right. So this shocked me, coming from a family of accountants. I've always been taught that a business had to be meticulously planned out. So I talked to him further, and I found that he had three main problems. Firstly, he had inadequate cost tracking, to the point where he didn't even know what a latte cost him. Secondly, he found that inventory tracking was just too much work, and he felt like it was a waste of time. Finally, this lack of tracking meant he couldn't make data-driven decisions. So I explored this problem further, I interviewed more coffee shops, and I found that 73% of them didn't have an inventory tracking system, yet somehow 87% of them wanted to reduce food costs. That sounded pretty contradictory to me. So enter BrewTrack, a real-time inventory and cost tracking system for coffee shops. A little bit about me, my name's Ernest, I'm a computer science and business student at Waterloo. So how does BrewTrack work? In simple terms, it connects your POS system, imports the orders, and then it automatically updates your inventory and costs. So we provide a platform for you to understand all that data. For example, we have a mobile interface for employees to do inventory counts and report wastage. And as well, we have a lot of analytics tools. For example, we can forecast inventory, and we can also see what part of the process is using more waste than usual. In terms of our value proposition, there's over 7,000 coffee shops in Canada, and of those, we have an average revenue of around $500,000 to $700,000. They all target a cost of goods sold of around 40%, and we've seen an average reduction of 23% by BrewTrack Pro users. That amounts to $48,000 in annual savings per year. And for our pricing model, we have BrewTrack Essentials at $49 a month, which has all the core features, and BrewTrack Pro, where we're gonna come in and do weekly inventory counts, staff training, as well as data analytics consulting. The aim is to have new customers come in at Pro, and then eventually move on to Essentials once they've been integrated with BrewTrack. In terms of our roadmap, in April, we've onboarded 2 free pilot users onto our MVP, and 3 more in May thereafter. In July, we're planning on doing an official launch, where we're gonna convert our pilot users to paying customers, and as well, in 2025, we plan on expanding to both bars and restaurants. In terms of our competitive advantage, we're the only ones focusing on coffee shops, with our restaurant counterparts having a significantly higher subscription fee. We're talking about $300 a month. As well, we're the only ones offering in-person training and consulting for Pro users. So in terms of how I plan on using the funds, $4,000 for affiliate marketing. So we're gonna reward influencers based on the number of sales discovery calls they can book. And as well, the remaining $1,000 towards technology and infrastructure costs. So that's BrewTrack, a new and improved way for coffee shops to understand their business and brew more efficiently. Thank you.
Excellent job. Couple first questions and a couple comments. How many coffee shops have you talked to for doing the validation of the problem?
Yeah, so in terms of the actual interviews, I've talked to 15, and I've worked with those 5 pilot coffee shops, like for the past few months, actually using the software.
And how are they currently paying for the software?
No, they're gonna start paying next month.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're undercharging for your software. You're charging currently, even at the premium model, 6% of the value you're providing. That's way under.
Yeah.
So, and like if you're going down to $49 a month, like that's way, way under. So that's your first thing that I would look at is your pricing model.
Yeah.
And the actual like willingness to pay there for your customer base. And I think that's my main comment, but otherwise really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, great pitch. I really liked it. At the very end, you said that why coffee shops is a niche market. But have you done a comparison of like in these businesses, like a food businesses, which one has a lower margin that with this they will help? Is that why coffee shop first? As your go-to market?
I would say coffee shops first, just because that's what I was familiar with. Okay. I also found that it is a niche that isn't being targeted. There are companies already doing it for restaurants. These are like 8-figure businesses. But honestly, they don't target the niche. So for example, for coffee shops, I'm able to provide different analytics that they aren't able to provide for restaurants as a whole, because coffee shops have smaller menus. So I really want to focus on that niche first, be like a competitive player for that niche. And then, as I said before, if I'm successful, move onwards towards bars and restaurants.
Okay. Is your beta version is ready to? Your pilot customers are already using it?
Yeah, they're
already.
What is
the plan after? So when they get paid and how you get bigger, like what's the plan after 5 to have more coffee shops on board?
Yeah, so in terms of go-to-market strategy, I'd say like 3 main things. Firstly, I think referrals obviously will help a lot. We've seen an average 23% of savings of COGS for these coffee shops. They've said they've been more than willing to refer me as well. In terms of the affiliate marketing, I plan on targeting 2 different groups. One would be coffee shop, basically blogs and YouTube channels who kind of teach coffee shops how to run their business more effectively. That's one group. Second would be influencers, just normal food influencers who have connections with coffee shops. So that's kind of my go-to-market strategy on that.
Are there currently competitors in the US?
There are competitors in the US for restaurants as a whole, not for coffee shops.
Okay, then you need to target both Canadian and US market.
Yeah.
Just quickly, does this have application only to like the small coffee shops, the sort of mom and pop style, or can it be used in a Starbucks?
It can be used for all. I'd say right now my focus is making the interface perfect for like coffee shops, like smaller coffee shops, but it's like pretty flexible.
Thank you, Ernest. Great business advice. Follow your accountant, not your heart. All right, up next, we have Care Connect. Hey, save it for after he's pitched. Care Connect is a platform which helps elders and their families find short-term care services in their local communities. Kevin Shangyi is an MBET student at the Conrad School of Business and Entrepreneurship and the founder of Care Connect.
My grandma suffered several diseases and stuck in the bed for several weeks. One day she accidentally pooped herself without telling anybody, all because I couldn't find the caregivers on time. My grandma cried about it, my family cared about it, but I will show you I care about it. Clearly here's a problem. Elders and their families spend around 5 weeks to get caregivers. They lack resources to reach more caregivers. And we have 40% caregiver shortage, both medical and non-medical. We are Care Connect. We're connecting families with short-term care providers, include student nurse, retired doctor and nurse, and personal support workers. We currently have 150 users and 20 appointments per day. My solution is not only for my grandma, it's for 70 billion of people just like my grandma. Elders can simply access my platform by entering their address and connecting their caregivers in their local community. Aging population is global issue. We have 800 million elders in the whole world and 400,000 elders in Ontario, which brings $5 billion total addressable market. This market has a huge potential. In North America, there's 70 million elders looking for different cares, but only 25 million elders are being served, which is demand way over the supply. We got 100% good reviews from both caregivers and elders because we build different. We help elders and their families find caregivers now and reach their caregivers much more faster. Caregivers work with more flexibilities and they earn more money than before, which raise their wages from $20 per hour to $85 per hour. Based on 600 individual caregivers and elders, our revenue model is B2C. We charge $200 per month as premium subscription fees and 15% as our transaction fees. $5,000 will be spent on marketing and branding will help me get more customers, more daily transactions, and more daily revenue from $90 to $9,000. Where are we right now? We're currently onboarding 150 caregivers and elders, like 6 to 8 months. We want to expand our business into GTA area and the rest of Canada. But next 1 year to 2 years, we want to expand our business to United States and China. Who are we? I'm Kevin. I'm by program, the founder of Care Connect. I have 5 years volunteer experience in long-term care facilities. Both of my teammates has 10 years experience in elder healthcare industries. We also have strong mentors teams. David Rose, Dean Pacey, and Tanya from Greenhouse. Connect with us and make change together. Also, I prepared some flyers. So if you can get more understand my business, so everyone flyers.
Right.
Yeah.
Common question, how many families you talk to?
At least 600 families, 600 elders. For my understanding, means 600 families, right? So.
What did you ask them? What do they like to see in your platform?
So according to your question, like your understanding, like your concerns, like my competitive advantage or something like that?
I want to say that how they trust your platform compared to what already exists.
Yes.
Do they insurance?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, for sure. So I talked to, basically I found long-term care facilities. They have a lot of elders. So I visited them because Tanya give me a lot of connections. So that's why I can free visit them. I found like most of elders, like they complain their living conditions, their sort of starving, so their concerns not being addressed or something like that. So that's their pinpoint. So also my personal experience taking care of my grandma, it's really a hard time to find a caregivers, and then it's really stressful.
So just understanding the business model a little bit more.
Yes.
So say I'm signing my grandma up. Is she seeing the same caregiver over and over, or is this to find people who need to help on like I need someone this week but not next week basis? Like,
Yes.
how does that work?
So according to my platform, you can send me notes. So at the back end, I can receive notes. If you send me, say, I want this person every time, I will try to connect with you with that person. But if I didn't receive any notes, so I probably send people differently, because by appointments, who gonna be available, who will come to the door and start by taking care of grandparents or parents.
And what keeps someone on the platform instead of just connecting with someone who is now a good caregiver and they're like, okay, we'll just go off the platform and I'll pay you direct?
Sorry, like if I correct me if I was wrong.
So say
like-
I found, someone who is a
Yes.
good caregiver for my grandmother. What keeps me on the platform instead
Okay.
of just going direct
Yeah.
to them and being like, look, I'll just
Yeah.
pay you and save the money?
Yeah, for sure. So I totally understand that. So because we are focusing on short-term cares and short waiting lists, all because if they skip me, it's really unnecessary because they lost their opportunities to earn more money. For example, for supplier side, I visit a lot of international students from Connoisseur College nursing school. They are recently just landed in Canada. They are really struggling to find a job, and they frustrated, and then they have a lot of experience back home, but they frustrated to find a job in Canada. So like skip my platform, so they connect privately. It's not really necessary because it's short-term care. Also, they will lose more opportunities. For example, I can red flag his account or something.
I'm gonna have to stop you there. We're out of time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Next up, we have Ecosense. They are designing fill sensors and route optimization software that will allow waste management companies to reduce operating costs and carbon emissions by reducing unnecessary trips to partially filled commercial waste bins. They will be represented by Rukshi Yogan, an undergraduate student in mechatronics engineering.
When I was taking a walk around my local neighborhood and in commercial areas, I noticed that garbage trucks would pick up bins that aren't even full most of the time. What this means is it leads to a large amount of hours wasted for the waste truck drivers to pick up bins and take on these unnecessary trips. This leads to a 30 to 50% greater operating cost in terms of fuel cost and labor costs for the waste management company. And not to mention metric tons of carbon emissions that are emitted into our atmosphere every single year. That's where we come in. Ecosense is developing a multi-sensor IoT platform that will be placed in the back of commercial dumpsters in order to detect when that bin is full. Our route management software can optimally plan routes for each waste truck driver based on which bins actually need to be picked up. After speaking to some of the largest waste management providers in our area and in Canada, we learned that bin sensors have been started to introduce into small waste management companies. However, they're extremely inaccurate at detecting the fill level, as waste is very random in terms of the material properties in a bin. On top of this, it's very expensive. Many use AI camera systems, have high maintenance costs, and are unreliable because they require regular maintenance. We even learned that these companies have been using the same waste management routing software for their trucks for 2 decades now. And we plan on integrating our software into theirs to reduce the barrier to entry. On top of that, we've developed proprietary tech that allows us to use multiple different types of sensors in order to more accurately define what the fill level of the bin is, all while being less expensive and more reliable than the alternatives. We are currently conducting an ongoing patent search to differentiate our technology. After speaking with customers, our current revenue model is charging $200 to $300 an upfront fee for the sensor, and then a monthly reoccurring fee for the route management software. And this pricing needs to be readjusted based on our scheduled pilot and how much cost that we can actually save the company. There's over 45,000 commercial bins in Ontario alone, which represents a $90 million market opportunity. But if we were to expand into North America, that's over a $2.6 billion market opportunity. In just 1.5 months, we've designed a working prototype, spoken to over 20 waste management providers, and even have 2 pilots coming up in August of 2024. We would need the 5K in order to purchase sensors at scale, and so we can proceed with our pilots. Our team consists of electrical, mechanical, and software engineers with experience in engineering different types of sensors, and we're confident in our ability to take this idea to the next level. We're Ecosense. Join us in redefining waste collection norms, 1 bin at a time. Thank you.
So how many waste companies have you spoken with?
20.
20 so far, and they're willing to pay for sensors in dumpsters.
Yeah, so they've already started to do this, but the problem is these sensors aren't accurate. And just some background here. So the competition is actually based in Europe and the USA, and they're specialized in putting sensors into small bins. So these sensors are single point sensors that detect when they're full. However, when you scale it to a large garbage bin, they don't actually work as effectively. They don't even work effectively in the small bins, but in the larger bins, it's even worse. And then other competitors are using AI camera systems, which are too expensive, and they are focused on commercial dumpsters. We're trying to focus on commercial dumpsters while making it much cheaper and not have the privacy concerns that our customers had mentioned when they were talking about the AI solution.
Just as a follow-up to that, why, or have you encountered any waste companies that are required to empty on a schedule for rodent reduction?
Yeah, so some companies are required, like hazardous waste or certain ones that have a lot of organics. However, we're targeting the unpredictable waste streams, mainly because there's a lot of companies that every 2 weeks they're going to fill up. But shopping malls and public facilities, those areas, no one knows how fast they're going to fill up. And so if we can offer this to that market, it would be huge.
You currently say there's an up to a 50% reduction in operating costs. What's the current operating cost for these providers per bin?
We don't have a number per bin. This number was an anecdote based on the fact that there's multiple case studies run in Canada, US, and Europe that indicate that if you were able to know when that bin is full, you could have this much amount of operating costs because you would be able to pick up less frequently. And so you save on the gas and the labor.
Okay, so that would be your calculation to figure out, to determine your pricing is going to be a fraction of the basically reduction in operating cost.
I had similar question that what James asked. Does your service affect those regular pickups, like the companies that they do every week or bi-weekly? So how are those still going to happen, or is it going to change the whole scheduling?
This is for certain companies along a route. For example, if you think about an office space, a lot of the times you know how much waste they're going to produce. But and then you think about hazardous material, you have to pick that up ASAP.
Yeah.
But if you think about shopping malls, facilities, parks, all these areas, you never know when they're going to fill up. And so we're targeting parts of that route.
And is it only for garbage or recycles, compost?
It's for both. So we have an odor sensor that can detect the organic smell,
Okay.
but we're more aimed towards recycling because there is no smell. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, very good pitch.
Thank
Great
you.
job.
The next team is creating a breathalyzer that can detect multiple diseases through a non-invasive and point-of-care procedure. Please welcome Agosh Saini, a master's student in the Faculty of Engineering studying mechanical and mechatronics engineering.
Hey everybody, I would like us all to take a deep breath together. That breath you just took, it tells a story about your health. There are hundreds of biomarkers in your breath that could help diagnose for diseases. But to do that, you either have to be a smelling savant, like Joy Mill, a nurse out of the UK, or have this machine with you, which is expensive to buy, run, and maintain. Alternatively, there is a solution. You could take a bunch of unique sensors, put them into an array, and create an electronic nose. The more sensors you put in there, the better it becomes. And due to difficulties with manufacturing, the best people can do is 74 sensors on their platform. With our patentable manufacturing technique, we can produce 1,000+ sensors for a fraction of the cost and time. And we want to use this platform to help with point-of-care testing of underserved screening markets. Let's take mammograms as an example. Right now in the US, 40 million mammograms are conducted, and the total cost of doing this test is $15 billion. However, 40% of women cannot be effectively screened using mammograms. And remember, this is the first screening method available for them. They're not the only ones who are being underserved by the diagnostic community. Parkinson's and Alzheimer's are two diseases that have known breath biomarkers available, but not a single pre-screening test is available for these illnesses. What sets us apart from other health tech companies is that there are a lot of smaller problems along the way that we can solve. There is even a scale-up company in Ontario that has reached out to us to help find an alternative for their ethylene sensor, which costs about $10,000 for them. We believe that we can have a prototype ready within the next 6 months, and that's what the 5K would be used for building and piloting as fast as we can. The team consists of myself, Ahmed Shaheen, and Dr. Kevin Musselman. We're the only lab in North America that has the expertise to scale this manufacturing technique up. We also have experience in IP analysis, sensor development, and also with health tech companies. If you'd like to join us in our journey, you can scan the QR code to sign up to our mailing list. I'm looking forward to the questions you guys may have. Thank you.
Looks like a very cool technology. But my question does rely on, is there a business here, or is this a technology in search of a problem?
So there is a business case. We can look into specifically how mammograms are conducted right now. So a doctor would write a prescription, which then sends the individual to a clinic that is outside of usually doctor's practice. In that case, there's no financial incentive for the doctor to do that. Of course, this is the right care of path. What it would allow us to do is have a test in the doctor's practice itself. So every test they conduct, they can make some amount of money from the test itself.
What are the regulatory hurdles of providing a diagnostic test like that in a doctor's office?
Yeah. So the main one would be FDA approval. And of course, it is a very long process, but that's, again, we have a company that was looking for us to solve one of their problems. And there are other smaller problems that we can solve along the way that would help us generate some revenue before we get to the FDA stage.
How many if for each one of these problem segments that you're looking at, how many potential customers have you talked to?
Okay, so for food waste, I have talked to 50+ people and also took a job for 2 weeks at a warehouse to better learn what happens behind the scene. For military, I've been in contact with individuals who procure a lot of the tech equipment. And for climate-based sensors, I've talked to about a similar number of people as well. And this is besides the conversations I've had with doctors and laboratory technicians who are conducting tests in the space.
Yeah, I do think it's an intriguing technology. Either you're going to be a technology provider and you need to have a slightly more clear message on who your customers are and what that path's gonna look like, or it's just very difficult to build a company that is doing food waste and medical.
Yeah.
So I think from a raising perspective and a positioning, you're just gonna need to refine that story a lot.
Yeah, and that's one of the challenges that was with this. We are a technology platform, but the main end goal is the healthcare application, just because there's a lot of personal story around that.
Okay. So where is your technology at? What you've done to prove that this concept works?
Yeah, so all the films that we would need to deposit to create the sensors, we already have that. So we are able to already deposit unique films. We already have preliminary data that says that there's selectivity from our sensors. And we're also testing alternative additions as well to our sensors. So manufacturing-wise, we know for a fact that we can produce this right now. We're at a point where we're optimizing our manufacturing technique.
Okay, that's good to hear. That was a great pitch. Very good start. Yeah.
Thank you.
Illuma Safe is a cloud platform that uses drones to monitor and optimize nighttime lighting in transportation and parking areas. Pitching for Illuma Safe is Shene Abba, a graduate student in systems design engineering.
Hello, everyone. So this is my project, Illumisafe. Let me start with this. How many of you have been in this situation? Driving, walking in the dark, feeling unsafe, anxious, uncomfortable? Okay, don't worry, I've been in the same situation too. So my project is while I was conducting, let me share my experience. While I was conducting a safety experiment for a course project, conducting a safety, sorry, I'm just a bit confused. Conducting an experiment with a course project to see the human reactions to in a different light intensities. I have seen, based on the literature reviews, I have seen a lot of issues that how humans react, and based on the result, 30% accident will increase and 20% crime will increase by the low light intensity. Not only that, based on my experience as an energy advisor and working in the management area, the traditional way of assessment, light assessment, is really cost-effective and time-consuming. Only, for example, Kitchener-Waterloo approximately spent $500,000 annually to do the assessments, light street assessment. And this is my project, Illumisafe, how it works. So this is just part of the area that I've used a drone, a laser scanner, to scan all the areas. And we have taken like over 400 points to connect, and using ground control points to connect it with to find the correlation, between the light intensity and the real life lux. So we come up with this model, which is a lux model, that whenever you have a drone image, you can click on any pixels with the drone images and see the light intensity of that images, which is a real time inside, it's a cloud that give you a recommendation. With a traditional assessment, municipalities, Kitchener-Waterloo, use $500,000, but with using Illumisafe, you can save up to 20 to 30% of energy saving. That is gonna be up to $1 million a year if you use that assessment. And for the revenue models, we have 3 plans: basic, standards, and the premium plans. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I was so confused.
It's good work, but can you just explain to me, I might have missed exactly how it works. So are you using a drone to assess lighting conditions for, say, a municipality?
Yes.
And can you just go back one slide there for your pricing model there?
Oh, sorry. Yep.
When you say $150, you mean a municipality will pay just $150 to do an assessment that they normally have?
No, just per, so let's say you have a place, for a small place, like a private parking. So when you scan the area with a drone, so you pay $150 per report. That will give you a per report. If you, when the area is getting bigger, then you pay more for a more detailed report.
And you mentioned working for the municipality, I think,
No, I've connected to them. Kitchener, they have a project which is called Utilities Clean Energy, where by 2030s, they're working on giving the instructions to companies, private parkings, to use a cleaner energy. And they really like this project because you can use it as an assessment, pre-assessment, before doing the full retrofitting of the street lighting.
And how many municipalities have you discussed, and do any of them have tall buildings?
Kitchener and Waterloo so far.
Sorry. Market sizing. I didn't really see that in there. Oh, did we miss that slide or?
Sorry, the market.
Like what's the North American market for this?
So for now, I'm working on the plan to getting the market sizing, but my main focus is getting the business like municipalities, private parking. These are the main customers that I'm really focusing on because this could be a very helpful and beneficial rather than the traditional retrofitting for the street lighting.
Yeah, but how many customers can you have?
So right now we are in the plan, the study to do like how many customers we can have. But for example, for the first year, we are planning to have around 350 subscription, which can give us a revenue of $1.2 million if we can achieve that goal.
Okay. When you talk to Kitchener or Waterloo, how many times do you think per year they need to pull a report?
So when they are conducting like when you have a street light, let's say, so you have a 5 years, 10 years based on the fixture that they are doing on the street lights. So before changing the whole area, you can do the pre-assessment with this. How many lights are actually working? How many has a poor lit light?
I know, but do you know how many times they might need this for like a Waterloo small city?
They
Like
can
you
do it
see
every.
that what is your scale is
They
when you go
can-
to Toronto, for example?
Yeah, they can do every 6 months.
Every six
Yeah.
months. Every 6 months, like City of Waterloo pays you like $300?
Just a small.
Okay, so maybe you wanted to put the pricing like per square feet or something.
Yeah, I should do
Because
that.
you need to see that what is the scale that
Yeah.
you can grow, as Daniel was asking. Yeah. Okay. Great job.
All right, now we're going to be taking a quick break for intermission. Please take a moment to fill out the survey and let us know what you think so far. Don't forget to register for night 2 as well as our finals on July 25th. As a reminder, if you need the bathrooms, they are at the back of the main lobby behind the stairs. We'll be back at 6:05. See you guys soon.
We bet you didn't know.
If you wanna run away with me, I know a galaxy and I could take you for a ride. I had a premonition that we fell into a rhythm
Back. Our next team up is Team Insight, who's building a camera analytics solution that proactively identifies and addresses operational and security inefficiencies in hotels. Please welcome Raheem Merchant, a CFM undergraduate from the Faculty of Math.
So this is my dad, and he's a manager at a hotel. And whenever he came home from work, he used to tell us problems about his hotel. And these problems fit into two categories. First one was staffing allocation, and the second one was security and violence. And I remember him telling me a story about a car theft, and that he did not know about this issue until later, until it escalated too far, and it resulted in a bad review. So I wanted to solve this problem for him. So he talked to many hotels, many managers and owners in the hotel industry, and they all said the same thing. Hotels struggle to solve problems in real time, and when they do understand about the problems, it's too late, and it results in a bad review. So let's look at how hotels are solving problems right now. Currently, they're solving problems through reviews and feedbacks. They're solving problems through shift summaries and through customer complaints. These methods are so reactive. Hotels get this feedback and they use it for the next day. It has not solved the problem on that spot. So my dad wanted to look in solutions that provided real-time analytics and alerts to the solutions he needed, but they didn't really fit with him. For example, Verkada was very hardware dependent. They were super expensive because he had to buy new cameras. This company provided really good analytics for operations, but not as good for security. And Eagle Eye Network did really good for security analytics, but did not focus on operational analytics. So since my dad did not like any of the solutions on the market, we decided to build our own. So this is Insight. So we are a web-based platform that aims to improve operational and security inefficiencies by connecting to any camera and providing alerts and insights so they can better plan. For example, when the queue hits a certain limit, we send out an alert to the manager to allocate an additional staff. In addition, our web-based platform provides analytics such as counting the number of people and certain premises within the hotel so they can better staff and better plan and make better decisions. In addition, our face filtering feature allows hotels to better look at suspect guests in real time. So currently, in March 2024, we built out our first MVP, and this was just based on manual insights. So this was just based on us looking at cameras and delivering insights to my dad. In June 2024, we just built our second MVP, which focused on alerts and analytics, operating for operational inefficiencies. And currently, we're running one unpaid pilot with my dad, and we have verbal agreements for 3 unpaid pilots. And this is the main reason why we want to get that $5K funding, because we want to get another software engineer to help us scale our solution and make it more scalable and more efficient. So when we go to the other 3 hotels, it's a lot easier. So this is our team, and consists of me and my twin brother Ramon, in addition with a family who's been in the hotel industry for more than 30 years. At the end of the day, we're not solving this really huge global problem, but we're solving a problem that we know a specific group of customers need, and if implemented well, we can make the hotel industry a better place and make my dad's life a lot more simpler. Thank you.
All right, I'm Ramon Merchant. That's my twin, and I'll be answering any questions. I'm also CFM as well.
Right. Very well done. Very good naming for the product Insight. My question is around the privacy. What privacy issues hotel industries face for the surveillance cameras, and what is your solution compared to existing one to make sure that you're not having more problems?
Yeah, so when we first came up with this idea and we pitched it to our dad, he did have this kind of issue with that kind of issue. So the only issue is if we turn the mics on within the cameras. That's the only legal issue we kind of have. Everything else is completely fine, and we're allowed to use the cameras to deliver our own insights and then do our own tracking with them as well.
Market sizing and pricing. So what does this look like as far as in North America? How many customers are there? Globally, and how much can you charge them? What value does this provide?
Yeah, so in the US, there's I think around 90,000 hotels, and in Canada, there's like 4,000 Best Western hotels and 6,000 IHG hotels. So that's 10,000 hotels combined that we can target to, especially since within our network, for the hotel industry, a lot of the hotels are Best Western and IHG hotels. So we have direct access to them as well. And then for pricing, what we thought of was, because the hotel industry is not doing so well right now, especially after the pandemic. So we want to charge only $50 a month. We haven't charged anything yet because we're currently doing our own free unpaid pilot with my dad. But then eventually we want to begin to charge. And then, so $50 a month. And then compared to like some of our other competitors like Verkada, they're also like, with their camera analytics, one thing that they're doing is they're super hardware based, but how much they're charging is, like, they had a call with my dad, and they're charging $70,000 for 30 cameras, and that means he has to go through his hotel and replace all the cameras, and he has to pay $70,000, which is super unaffordable, and like no one really wants to do that. So we only want to charge $50, and we're completely software based.
You're probably charging too little, and you need to figure out what the value proposition is here as far as what is the value of this solution to the hotel chain.
So before we even began coding out anything, we talked to a bunch of hotels, not only within our own or within my parents' network. We reached out to a bunch of other hotels as well, and a bunch of other managers, just kind of see, we didn't pitch them any idea, we just kind of wanted to figure out what kind of problems that they had. And one thing, recurring problem that they did have was that they're super reactive in figuring out what their problems are. That's even if they actually get to know about these problems, because sometimes the employees and staff don't really tell them too much about what's actually going on. So it would always be based off of if a manager's checking a security camera, that's the only time they really get to know if there's actually a problem going on.
I'll have to stop you there just because we're out of time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I think your dad's been playing the long game sending you both to study CFM. All right, our next team aims to enable cheaper prosthetics through muscle sensor technology suitable for a wide range of amputees independent of amputation length. Pitching for limb prosthetics is Sabi Ahmed, an undergraduate in the Faculty of Health studying kinesiology.
I feel like everybody today has asked me if I'm nervous. Can you guys hear my heart? Okay. So hi, my name is Sabi, and at LIM, we're revolutionizing prosthetics by enabling manufacturers to access the technology of today. I want you to picture this intersection that we're all too familiar with. You're about to take a right turn, and you hear a loud screech, a bang, and a crash. Next, it's all dark. You wake up in a hospital bed, and you try and sit up, but you realize that you can't because your right arm is not there anymore. And that stark realization of, oh, how am I going to make dinner tonight? How am I going to take how am I going to take my children to the park? How am I going to hug the ones that I love? How am I going to do their hair again and again and again for it to only come undone 30 minutes later? What is all of this worth to you? Other manufacturers that produce prosthetic limbs say that's worth $50,000 or $100,000, like Ottobock or Assure. Sure, some people can afford that, but there are 500 million amputees worldwide, and 90% of them have no access to any accessibility devices. And for arm prosthetics specifically, only 1 in 5 have access to prosthetics, and that one only uses it 50% of the time. Because aside from the prohibitive cost, prosthetics right now are just not there. They're not good enough, because they're using technology from decades past. Their sensors are inside the socket, which moves around and causes mental load. They use pre-programmed movements which limit the user's ability to do anything, and they provide no feedback to the user that's physical and vibrational that allows them to understand what's going on in their environment without actually looking at exactly what they're doing. So LIM is gonna solve all that. At LIM Sensors, we're gonna be able to enable manufacturers to license our sensors that are placed higher up on the arm. Because they're placed higher up on the arm, any amputation that is below that level on the arm will be applicable for this sensor, enabling mass production and lowering cost. And because these sensors are not moving at all, because they're higher up and they're more stable, there's less room for cognitive load. And because we're able to collect more information and provide feedback through vibrations on the band, users are able to understand what is in their environment to be able to make more articulate and accurate movements. This is data collection that I did last week or a couple weeks ago, and the data on the right represents my upper arm. The data on the left represents the movements of my hand. Using some neural networks, I can be able to track what happens on the right side to the left side. And from this, you can kind of see the correlation of the data here from just like your plain eye. But this is only from one data channel. Imagine if you're able to use 8 data channels. So I've designed and manufactured a data collection system which I'll be using in the coming months to develop a working wearable prototype which I'll be demoing to manufacturers. This demo will prove that, hey, I'm able to actually make something. That $5,000 will be going to the manufacturing cost and the hardware. So about me, the reason why I care
I think
about
we
this,
have to cut you off.
So, yeah.
So if I understood correctly, you have a unique sensor that you want to then license to manufacturers.
Yes.
How many manufacturers have you spoken with?
So I haven't spoken to manufacturers specifically yet because I need something working in order for them to take me anywhere seriously. But Adam Lim in California, they're developing something similar and it is working. And I've talked to around 20 to 30 researchers, ML researchers, EMG researchers, and doctors who have given credibility to what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I've dealt with some of those prosthetics in the past, and they are slow. I get it completely, but there's a reason that they make them that way. How are you solving a problem for the manufacturers if they're already not tackling it themselves?
The problem we're solving for the manufacturers is that I said, oh, there's 500 million people who don't have access to this, right? Those 500 million people are not, it's not an available market to those existing manufacturers because they're not developing for them because they don't have the technology or not willing to take the risk to develop that technology to access those people. So I'm saying, hey, I'm making the technology here, you develop something off of this technology, and now you have access to this massive market where you can make a massive amount of money.
Have you filed any patents yet?
I know.
Have you talked to any amputee patients or caregivers or doctors?
Yeah, so
these products needed, like what problem it's solving for them?
So the problem that it's solving for them is it's making a better user experience for the prosthetic itself, allowing smoother movements, and it's also just making it generally cheaper for them to access a prosthetic in the first place. And so I've talked to a couple doctors, rehabilitation therapists, and a couple individual people who are caregivers of people who are amputees, and they agree that this is something that is needed.
Okay, is it going to be you sell it to the manufacturers? So is it integrated with the?
Yeah. So the initial idea is to license this out to the manufacturers so that they can develop off of our platform.
Pricing. So how are you generating money? I guess it's through the licensing, but what value does this, how much are you thinking?
So it's too early to say that. I can throw you a number, but it's going to be out of nowhere, right? I need to develop something that actually works in the first place, and then I can come up with a number that is realistic and makes sense.
Okay. I don't have any further questions.
Is your value add in the sensor itself, like a piece of hardware, or is it in the algorithm, the ML?
It's in both because the placements of the electrode is unique. Nobody is really doing that right now, and the algorithm itself as well.
And the sensor type?
Sensor type is the same as anybody would use.
So it's EMG?
Yeah, it's EMG. Yeah.
That's it for me. Well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
PyroGuard is making advanced materials to protect firefighters from cancer. Pitching on behalf of his team is founder and PhD student Drew Davidson, who is studying chemical engineering.
Hi, everyone. PyroGuard is making a new moisture barrier material for firefighter gear. Now, I want you to think for a second about what you think the most dangerous part of firefighting is. Is it the flames? Is it maybe a building collapsing? Actually, 94% of firefighter deaths come from cancer, and it's their gear that's responsible. My mom has been a 32-year veteran of the Cambridge Fire Department, and one day she came home from a colleague's funeral and asked me, "Drew, we have this problem with our gear. Could you do anything about it?" And I knew with my background in nanomaterials that I could. The suits are made of 3 different layers, and we're focusing on the moisture barrier layer. This layer is critical for protecting the wearer from water, hot steam, and carcinogens that are present in the fire scene. Right now, they're based on perfluorinated alkyl substances, or PFAS. And these molecules have been linked to causing a host of health issues through the generation of carcinogenic microplastics. But manufacturers keep using them because there's just nothing out there that's as good at protecting from environmental hazards. Now, they're trying to come out with alternatives, but what they have are less durable and less effective at protecting from chemicals. We're aiming to fill this gap with a new kind of material that fulfills the strict requirements necessary to protect firefighters in their gear, but also provides the safe water and chemical barrier that they need to do their job effectively. And that's what I'm going to be doing as part of my PhD. Now, in terms of market sizing, currently moisture barrier layers cost around $200 per suit. But with the added functionality we're going to provide, we can boost that up to $340. Over 250,000 suits are produced in North America each year, making for a market of around $85 million. But on top of that, these kind of coatings are used in a host of other industries, particularly around waterproof textiles and other kinds of protective equipment, for a total market that we could possibly move into of $7 billion. Now, I'm leading the effort to develop this material based on my previous experience developing safe and sustainable nanomaterials, and I actually hold a patent in this area already. I also worked on skin contact materials through my work with Avro Life Science, a previous Velocity company. Our advisor is Dr. Malad Kamkar, who's the director of the Multiscale Materials Design Center here at UW, and he's providing us with his expertise on producing flame-resistant nanomaterials. My co-founder, Kate, has been instrumental with contacting industry, and so far we've talked to firefighters, fire chiefs, regulators, government, and fire gear manufacturers, and they've all reiterated to us that this is a critical problem that they need to address now. We've secured 2 NDAs already, 1 LOI, and we're in the middle of meeting with Lion, one of the biggest gear manufacturers, to talk about a partnership. So I'm lucky to still have my mom around, and with PyroGuard, we can keep making firefighters come home safe and healthy.
Great pitch. What other occupation or uniforms you think can benefit from your technology?
So there's a lot of different occupations that can benefit from this technology. Particularly, we're looking at private firefighting or hazmat kind of applications. So these are common in materials, mining, forestry, wildfire fighting, and electrical work. And one of the gear manufacturers that we talked to has actually expressed interest in purchasing our gear for that purpose.
Do you produce the gear, or you produce the material and send it to manufacturers to coat their?
So this is something we put a lot of thought into.
Mm-hmm.
We started out with the intention of making the gear ourselves, but through interviewing with fire chiefs and firefighters, we discovered that the procurement process for that is particularly difficult for a new entrant to work into. So we're looking instead at producing the material for the benefit of the gear manufacturers that can then slot it into their existing manufacturing process.
Okay, that makes sense. I have another question. It's more on the technical side. Where is the technology at? What you've done to prove your material works? What are the standards you're following? The product specs that you need to reach to make it to the manufacturers?
So we're in the middle of moving from concept to prototyping now. We estimate to have a prototype ready within the next 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
The standards that we're working towards are the ones that are commonly accepted by firefighters, the National Fire Protection Association guidelines, And so we've designed a series of tests that will enable us to make sure that we fulfill those guidelines.
Okay. They have guidelines, but the health, like protecting from cancer, is that some other health regulation that you need to follow? Like what standards the clothing should meet?
In terms of the actual protection from cancer, there's no actual guideline on that, so that will be done through independent testing.
Okay, great job.
Actually, my question was on the timelines, so yeah.
No, absolutely. So your research is to see if the material can be made, or you're already convinced it's ready to go?
We definitely have leads on the materials that we can make. The main issue is making sure they fulfill all of the design requirements, which is what we actually intend to use a lot of the money for from this competition, is to do that extra market validation, find out what the most requested design requirements are, because there's a lot of different things that go into making a viable fire suit. And some of the alternatives on the market right now, their main problem is that they don't allow the wearer to shed the heat that they build up while they're doing their firefighting, so they end up overheating and have to leave the scene. So, yes.
So do you anticipate any problems in manufacture of the item that's different from research to building it? We only have like 1 second, so answer quick.
So we're looking into processes to optimize that as we go along.
Thank you. And if I'm looking correctly in the crowd, I think we have Mama Pyro Guard herself here tonight and Grandmama Pyro Guard. Thank you for being here to support our pitches. So next up, we're going to hear from Storm Safe Precision, who used advanced drones and deep learning to provide fast, accurate road assessments, improving safety and reducing maintenance costs during severe weather events. From Storm Safe Precision, here is Hasti Schwan, a PhD student from Civil and Environmental Engineering.
Hello, everyone. Before I came here, I looked through the window and see if it's raining, is it stopped, or what do I wear? I think it's a scenario that everyone just goes through and running on their heads, like, how do we predict the rain? How do we predict the weather? What should we wear? I think this is not just our scenario, it's a scenario for every municipalities. How can we assess this storm management? How can we manage our assets? I believe I go through, for myself, I'm an engineer, as well as I am a PhD student in the University of Waterloo and the CPAT, Center for Prevention and Storm Management. So what I started is, last years, when I walked down through the Kitchener's, Waterloo, I saw there's so many water pounding. And when the drainage on this side, but the water pounding on the other side, I was thinking, is it as a design issue, or is it the constructions, or after a while, is the environmentals? So basically, I was trying to run up some numbers or looking through online. I found the Weather Network, and they have a blog. They put that title line, or they put the titles, which is the "Where is a new fires?" That make me think about it. That there's so many municipalities, there's so many transportation agency, even the homeowners. When you go through the where is funding or make it into the river, into the neighborhood, you see the basement is flooded. Then you call one of the insurance company, oh, my basement is flooded, so what should I do? So basically, we try to find a platform, or let's say we try to find a method for detecting where the water is pounding, because this is the main issue to lead to crack, lead to where the water founded, how to find a way for detecting this. So as you see that our platform, it just not use it for the road, it uses for the rooftops, as well as the parking lot. So this platform is coming in, finding the way to detect either the catch basin where the water is going to, as well as the rooftops. You see the 3,500 municipalities out there, each year they spend on 350 millions on the storm management. So basically, we run up the models. We see detected the water quality wherever the water is ponded. And we have three business models, free and premium and plus, which is we are try to save or try to sell this data to the municipalities where they can run up the report and give the output. So this is the municipalities. I think I am done with my time, but I'm free to ask more questions.
So just so I understand, you are creating an AI platform to identify water.
That's
What is
correct.
the input? Like,
So basically, we try to find the different sensors. One of them is a drone, which is accessible for every drone pilot. The other one is mobile laser scanning, which is only the big corporations, as well as like the big municipalities like GTAs can afford it. Like municipalities like Kitchener's and Waterloo, they can afford these kind of inspections. Basically, we try to lower down the cost of the inspections for defining where the water is ponding.
so are then you selling drones?
No, we are using the platforms. We can, like, we are partnering with others, drones, pilots, businesses, that they will do the business, do the jobs for the people. So the people basically they hire and do what they have the data, they upload it into our system, they give the output, the report for these, either the commercial building owners, residentials, municipalities, whoever needed this data.
So is it then you're selling the platform to the drone pilots or to the municipalities, and they have to go hire drone pilots?
So anyone can register. Basically, we have a three-based. As you see that we have the free users, this is basically for the homeowner. They can, if they have the data or if they access with the data from the drone pilot, they can upload it into the system and get the reports. This data is free, but at the same time, we have the report that these reports can given to the insurance companies, municipalities. We kind of sell the data out there when we have the reports.
And if you're providing a software service, how many people have you tried this with?
So basically, I started with the realtors and the inspections companies. Right now, there's up to 25 realtors on the calls. Now we haven't launched the platform yet, but basically we are doing on the local servers, we're running the data until we get some grants, for either it's a federal grant or like from the one that if we've been winners, we get the pitch from that, we can launch the platform. As you see, that one of the issues that we have is data management. These data will upload it and they need times, you have to pay the subscriptions. So basically what we start to is like two other options. These two options, they have the data actually, and this data will be our data whenever they have the reports. But they can delete as well as we have the reports. Then these reports, it can be sold out to insurance companies.
Yeah, I understand that part of it. My question is, how many people have paid so far? If you can do it by hand, like if you give me a drone photo, I can say water.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you can too.
Yeah.
How many people have paid for that service at a low scale so far?
So basically, we haven't, and nobody has paid so far, but we have run out, we gave the data to some realtors when they are trying to sell some homes, and we gave
Sorry, I gotta stop you there. We're just out of time.
Okay.
Next up, we have Talk and Order, an AI phone assistant for restaurants that takes customer orders and integrates them directly into the restaurant's POS system. Pitching for Talk and Order is Daniel Mohammed, an undergraduate from the Faculty of Math's Data Science program.
Hey everyone, I'm Daniel from Talk and Order, and we're building an AI phone assistant for restaurants. So a few months ago, Ishan and I actually built a resume builder, and the app actually got over 20,000 downloads. We wanted to scale this even further, so we went to restaurants in Waterloo and asked them if they have any problems with hiring. They said they have 0 issues in hiring. What they did have an issue with, however, was phone orders.
They told us that 50% of phone orders are missed by restaurants on their busiest days. They also complained that training staff to answer calls is their biggest problem. They also complained that when there are multiple calls at the same time, they'd have to keep a customer on hold and they'd end up losing out on that customer. And this is important for restaurants because in general, 20% of all orders are through the phone. So that's why we built Talk and Order. How it works is that a customer calls the restaurant as usual, they talk to the AI voice bot, and the AI voice bot is able to answer any questions that the customer has about the food. They're able to help them recommend food and take the order. And once the order is done, the AI voice bot sends the order directly into the restaurant's POS system, so there's no human intervention needed whatsoever. So far, we've talked to 3 franchises that are interested in starting a pilot with us. Shelby Shawarma and Score Pizza take no phone orders whatsoever, so this would be a completely new revenue stream for them. We're planning to charge these restaurants $200 a month after the pilot, and if we capture just 5% market share of the 4 million restaurants in North America and Europe, that's $45 million a month in revenue. So we currently have a completely working end-to-end phone MVP with the Square POS system. So for context, there's 5 POS systems, and 90% of the restaurants use the 5 POS systems. So our next steps are to integrate with the rest of the 4 POS systems, and we're also aiming to start our pilot program on August 30th. We want to use the 5K to basically subsidize our AI costs for the pilot program because it'll be completely free. So the question is, why are we the right people to solve this problem? Well, we're both software engineers, and we actually have experience building profitable AI applications. The app I mentioned earlier, it actually generates $500 a month in profit, so we have experience using AI to solve real problems and capture value from doing so. So yeah, that's us. We are Talk and Order, and we're here to solve the issue of phones.
$500 a month in revenue. How did you get to that number?
So we deployed the app in about September, so it's been like, 8 months, and so we scaled it. In the beginning, we had about maybe like 5 to 10 users a day, but as we promoted it and we got more people involved, it scaled to like maybe 150. Yeah.
Sorry. How did you get to that for Talk and Order as what you were going to charge for?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yes, that was my fault.
Yeah, so we're planning to charge them $200 a month actually, and that's based off of the fact that if we know that 20% of their overall sales are over the phone and they miss 50% of them, that means that they make about $4,000 in additional revenue, and based on $4,000 additional revenue, $200 a month is kind of reasonable.
Have you talked to any of your pilot projects and asked them like how much they're willing to pay for that?
Yeah. So we asked them. Some people asked anything as low as $50 a month. Some people said up to $1,000 a month. And we just want to get people using this as fast as possible. And we believe $200 a month is the way we can get the most people using it, as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Very well done, pitch. I really liked it. Question, how fast do you onboard your customers? I assume that you need some customization, bring their menu to do your AI, train it, and everything. How fast you can bring each customer daily?
Instantly. Yeah, because it works with the POS systems. Mm-hmm. From there, we can actually pull their menu data right away, their costs, their prices, train it immediately, and we can deploy it maybe within a day.
Okay, so when things changes, they need to keep updating.
It automatically just goes in, yeah.
Updates,
So
okay.
yeah, because
assuming that all their prices are
accurate. Actually, it will be 100% accurate because when they place it into their POS system, the same numbers they use in person are the ones we use over the phone call.
Okay, all right, very well done. So,
what's your plan for scaling up as far as how do you go from these initial pilots to a larger customer set?
Yeah, so as we mentioned on one of the earlier slides, one of the places we're looking at is Paramount. And Paramount actually has 54 different franchise locations. So the plan is to aim for these medium-sized franchises. Something like McDonald's, you could expect them to maybe create this themselves. But something that's medium-sized, they can't afford to have software engineers build this for them. And so we'd start with something like 1 Paramount location, 2, and then scale all the way to 10, and then all the way to 50.
Since you are connecting directly into the POSs, why can't you sort of be a man in the middle and take a cut instead of charging?
Well, we've looked into other competitors, and we're seeing that eventually someone like DoorDash or Uber Eats might build this. And so if they do it, they're gonna have like higher fees. And you can imagine like what's the difference between ordering over the phone versus online. And a big factor could be if you order over the phone, you get the same prices that you would if you were in person.
That's a good call. It's a really good pitch, and I was very appreciative that it came in super quick and was very simple. Great job.
Thank you.
Our final team tonight is Comedy Set, a platform for stand-up comedy fans. Hey. You can't be giving this guy more applause than you give to me. That's not fair. Okay? Okay, this is a platform for stand-up comedy fans who want to see more live comedy. Pitching on behalf of the team is Yusuf Ben Amar, an MBET student at the Conrad School of Entrepreneurship and Business.
I came with my fans. So something you need to know about the stand-up comedy scene is that there is 3 major stakeholders. You have the fans, the comedians, and the promoters. And I'm part of that scene, mostly as a fan, but I also performed a bit, but I retired, don't worry. So I talk to people actually in the comedy scene all the time, and I talk to people in all of those pins and more. And I really try to understand what their problem. And what I found out, they all face a similar problem, but they all face different problem, but all comes from a similar issue. The people at the top make a lot of money, and the local stand-up comedy scenes that builds all that are actually struggling to make ends meet. So I talked to dozens of fans, and they're asking me questions such as like, where do I find the right comedy show? And then I talked to dozens of comedians, and they're asking me questions. How do I make more money? It's a hard business. And then I went to talk to more promoters, and they want to sell more tickets to find more talent and make more business. So we created a place where we can address all of these issues at once. The good news, if all stakeholders are facing that issue, we can solve it without hurting anyone. Comedy Set is a website where fans, comedians, and promoters can meet, ideally lowering the barriers to entry for all of them and selling more tickets. So on Comedy Set right now, you can find all the shows in Ontario, read about them, buy a ticket, and you can find a database of over 800 stand-up comedians. You can read about them, go on their social, and have a good laugh. Our business model is pretty classic. We take a ticket transaction fee. That's going to be, actually the promoters are on our side. We have their blessing, and their #1 issue is the current change in price from Eventbrite. We are planning on selling merch and hosting sponsored events. This is going to help us take a big share of a growing market. Stand-up comedy ticket sales in America had tripled within the last 3 years. There's a gap due to COVID. They reached $1 billion just last year. We're the only one who are actually addressing the issues of all stakeholders, and we're actually building a community and a marketplace for them. So we launched that in Q3 of this year. We built the website ourselves, and we've been talking to promoters since then in order to get 30 promoters by the end of the year. That will allow us to launch our platform in 2025 and generate $1 million in revenue by the end of 2025. The team is me. I have experience growing a business and I work in sales and marketing. And my co-founder, Steven, less funny, but he's a product manager with a lot of experience. And he actually founded Nightly in 2013, so we have experience within this industry. So why do we need $5,000? We need to build that platform that is going to allow us to generate revenues. We need to invest in our web scraper to make sure we always have the best data available. And we need marketing to get ourselves seen. But more importantly, we need you to join us on www.comedyset.live.
So go to market. What marketing channels are you guys thinking about looking at?
So right now, the goal for go-to-market is to talk to promoters directly. We're taking their money. So my job is I graduate tomorrow from my master's. So I'm going to start doing that. Thank you. I'm starting to do that kind of more full-time, talk to them. Yesterday, I had a great conversation, one of them. And of course, the social media, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.
So is that a marketplace for all the audience, promoters, and comedian, yeah?
Yeah. It's kind of, yeah.
So what is the strategy? I kind of follow up to get the comedians on your platform, or?
So the comedians, actually, we started building the database ourselves on our MVP, and we ended up with 800 comedians on our database. So I was like,
Oh,
we'll
okay,
just
you
make
do have
that available.
Okay, so you should have said that.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
You have this up and running. Is it working in a local area at the moment?
It's kind of working. We still need to fine-tune a few things. As I said, like I'm graduating shortly, so I was really busy. But so far, people are liking what they see. We don't have a great strategy, not a great strategy. We don't have great customer retention right now, just because we're actually building an MVP that's built on the Zappos kind of MVP. We're using Eventbrite links. We're not selling the tickets right now. We're just testing the idea, would people be interested in having a centralized place to find all these shows and all that? So kind of building progressively.
So do you guys see yourselves more as like helping comedians build a following, or a place where people who like comedy can go and find comedians?
Ideally a bit of both, but as of right now, because we're, again, getting the money off the promoters, our main issue is to make sure that they're happy, which is like they sell more shows. And what's that?
So how many people are on your TikTok and Instagram so far?
Yeah, that needs a bit of work right now. We're like at that.
That's fair. You've been busy.
So why promoters want to work with you?
So right now, just yesterday, I had a chat with one of them, and he said his #1 issue this year was changing his ticket selling platform from Eventbrite because they changed their rates and they hate it. So he's stuck at charging $25. Also, a lot of promoters are comedians, and they want to work with people, right? They're now working with machines, and Ticketmaster, everybody hates them. And they like us.
Okay, great.
Yeah, fantastic pitch.
Okay, I love ending things on a high note with some funny business. So that is it for the first night of the pitch competition semifinals. We hope to see you back here for the final 12 teams tomorrow night and at our final competition on Thursday, July 25th in the Theater of the Arts. You can register for either event at the link on the screen. Thank you once again to our teams, the audience, and the judges for taking time to be with us today. Have a great night.